Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gorgeous Growth Podcast, where we discuss strategies to take your brand to the top. I'm your host, Oscar Guerrero, and today I'm joined by Kelly Perkins. Kelly is the founder of Spinster Sisters. She's also formerly a business analyst, spent 10 years with the US Antarctic program, and spent one season at the South Pole. She is, by the way, the first person that I have ever spoken with that has been to the South Pole. So I thought that's pretty cool. As far as Spinster Sisters is concerned, Spinster Sisters has won 3 awards with Expo West. The last one being this year. They've also won a Mindfulness Award, 2 Taste of Life Awards, and they were also awarded a Golden Sustainability Award. Another fun fact about them, they were actually the Whole Foods Local Supplier of the Year during the pandemic. So that's a whole lot of accolades and achievements that this brand has achieved. Checking out its history, you're going to find it full of a wonderful entrepreneurial journey that Kelly has been through. So, Kelly, I'd like to welcome you to the show. It's great to have you
Thank
here.
you. Yeah, I am really happy to be here. Thanks for including me.
Hey, not a problem. Not a problem. So let's talk a little bit about how you got started in this. I mean, going from being a business analyst to entrepreneur and getting involved in soaps. How did all that happen?
Yeah, it was, if I'm being totally honest, this business kind of started by accident. And I've
Most
just kind of gone along for the ride since then.
most businesses do. Yep.
So I had read an article in the 90s about triclosan, which is in a lot of commercially produced skincare products, beauty products. It's been banned in other countries for years. 2016, it finally got banned in the US, um, but the companies are still working on getting it out of formulations and things like that.
Hmm.
But it was pretty eye-opening for me. I mean, I grew up in Boulder, so natural products have been kind of a part of my life, my whole life. But it was pretty eye-opening to me to read about some of the chemicals that are in skincare products. And I just kind of made the decision at that point that I didn't want to put these products on my skin anymore. And I wanted to, stop my family and friends from doing the same. So I rode my bike down to the Boulder bookstore and bought 3 books on how to make soap. And my family can't give a gift unless you make it. So I made my first batch of soap and yeah, started getting requests from friends and family saying, will you make me peppermint or will you make me eucalyptus? And then I kind of had a constant rotation of soap going on. Fast forward to 2006, and I met my husband. We moved from Boulder to Golden, and he had to cart 20 bins of soap and said, maybe you should try selling this. So that's how we got started.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, were you selling it at local stores, markets, trade fairs? How did you go about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I literally, it was 2011, and my husband, a few years before that, had urged me to start selling it, but I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I finally just made the leap and did a craft fair, still not having any idea what I was doing. I'm pretty sure I just threw the soaps on a table and put a price tag on it. I don't even think that I marked what scent they were or anything.
Wow.
But I did. But I did my first craft fair, and it was a beautiful day outside. People are bringing me beer. They're handing me cash and walking away with my soap. And I sold out by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, I just thought, well, this will be a fun thing to do on nights and weekends. I love the process of making soap. I've never thought of myself as a creative person before, but this business has kind of taught me that I am, in fact, a creative person but I just love the process of making soap. So it really, I just thought I'll start doing this every once in a while on weekends. Within my first probably 3 markets, I started getting wholesale requests. I have never, being 100% transparent, have never worked in retail in my life before starting the business. So I had to go home and Google, what does wholesale mean? I literally have learned how to run this business from the ground up. So yeah, I started doing craft fairs, farmers markets, started getting smaller wholesale accounts, started getting bigger wholesale accounts. And by March of the next year, 2012, it was at the point where either I continue to do my business analyst job or I go all in on Spinster Sisters. And this is way more fun. So, so I went Spinster Sisters.
Congratulations. I think that's awesome. It's very inspirational. So many entrepreneurs out there starting out, they're very scared, right? Or they're not
Yep.
starting out. They have it going, but it's taking that leap of, stepping away from their full-time job and then going after their dream and going after what they truly enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to hear that you were able to make it. And one of the things that I tell people is, hey, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I have friends, for example, that have asked me, I don't know how you do it. Oh, I'm worried about one of the things that made me laugh, because I remember being in this position, was I would hear people say, oh, I'm worried about my health insurance. And I told them, I said, don't worry, it sorts itself out. Believe me,
Right.
like it does. And it has. So, and I'm so happy to hear that it has for you as well. So it sounds like you
Yeah.
bootstrapped this whole thing. You did this with your own money.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually started this in, excuse me, and this may be more information than you want, but I started this in a, excuse me, a 6 by 12 room in my basement. And within 6 months, if you walked in our house, I have a very patient husband. You walk in our house and the kitchen was online order fulfillment. The living room was where we stacked all of our market stuff. Supplies, the entire garage in our basement became raw materials, production area. And I guess it was 2014, early 2014. I couldn't take it anymore and had to get it moved out of our house. But I was literally getting 55-gallon drums of oils delivered to our driveway. And when you make soap, you have to have a respirator on, you have to have gloves on. I mean, it looked like Breaking Bad right in the middle of our neighborhood. And
What your neighbors think was going on.
the fact that my neighbors did not call the police on me was a credit to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really took over our house. And honestly, at the time, I didn't know enough to be scared.
Oh boy.
It came later.
So you weren't even doing like using like a 3PL, or you were doing the fulfillment yourself. Oh wow. Wow. So
yeah, we do the production, we do the fulfillment, we do everything from our warehouse here.
out of curiosity, back then, you were selling online in 2012?
Yeah.
Wow. What was your now we're going back over 10 years. So what was the primary source of traffic to your website? How were you getting people to find out about you?
From craft fairs and farmers markets.
Oh, so it was just like people who had found you organically, locally, were then going to the website. Oh,
right.
Okay.
Or they would share it with friends, or, I would post about it on my personal Facebook page, and I can't even remember when I joined Facebook, but it was pretty early on. But yeah, it was really organic. I don't know. Most of it was local stuff, or they'd just go there to see where we're going to be at markets or things like that. But yeah, I would have people picking up orders. wholesale orders, website orders from our house,
Oh,
which is like
okay.
unheard of now. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
got to start
absolutely.
somewhere,
That's
right?
right. That's right. That's right. That's the so you've obviously you now have a distribution that is large. Like where how many stores are you in at the moment?
We're in about 3,500 stores right now across the country. Yeah. Some stores in Canada, but that's the furthest we've gone with exporting at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then so I imagine right now you don't do you guys have to pay for ads for people to go to your store online, or it's mostly just people who are finding you on the store shelves and then finding you through Google probably, right?
It's kind of a mix of the two.
Okay.
Quite honestly, direct to consumer website sales is the smaller part of our business.
Oh
We're
yeah.
much more wholesale focused. Um, so most of our sales come from our retailers, but our direct to consumer site we are focusing on this year to try to kind of increase sales there as well, which that's all grown because we're bootstrapped, has always grown organically, the direct to consumer site, the e-commerce site. So we do want to and need to put some focus on that this year.
Yeah, so you probably have it's funny, a lot of the brands that I speak with, they launch online first, and then they're pumping a ton of money into paid ads, and they have like 90% of the traffic coming from these paid ads that they have running, and only 10% organically. And the problem with that is then their cost per acquisition is so high, um,
Right,
that it's not really a sustainable model, or it may be if the lifetime value is good enough,
right,
but it's challenging. And then typically what I like to see is I like to see that a brand has at least half of their traffic coming in organically, because if they do, then there's a great opportunity if their unit economics are all in place, if they'll make sense. There's great opportunity for growth, right? So it sounds like you
right,
conquered that first, which puts you in a great position today to take advantage of direct to consumer using
right.
paid ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about COVID, because that really caught my attention. I was like, oh wow, you were the Whole Foods local supplier of the year during the pandemic. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's again, being transparent, I'm a bit of a control freak. We are very sustainability focused at Spinster Sisters. So we don't use contract manufacturers in most cases. We do all of the manufacturing here at our warehouse. And I was kind of watching COVID, since it started in November, in overseas. I was kind of watching the progress of it and watching it spread. And we had hand sanitizer before this, but we hadn't had it FDA approved, gotten the monograph and everything. And I had discontinued it, and I'm watching the progress of the pandemic, and I thought now is not the time to discontinue hand sanitizer. So we got the FDA approval, I think in January, just to be ready for it. And at that time, if I was buying bottles or something, I was buying 1,000 or 5,000 at a time. I went out and placed an order for 200,000 bottles and
Wow.
sprayers, which, is terrifying as a
Yes.
small business to invest that much money in packaging. And we just kind of did the work in advance of the pandemic, just kind of being prepared in case it happened. And so when the pandemic started, I called my local rep she had asked me if we had hand sanitizer, and I said yes. And I called her and I said, I just bought 200,000 bottles. How many do you want? And she said, give me a few minutes and I'll call you back. And she called me back a couple minutes later and said, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we're going to take them all. So I went out and ordered 100,000 more to be able to supply our other customers. But yeah, we started the day the lockdown started. We started making gallon jugs of hand sanitizer for the store staff for Whole Foods. And that's all we did because all other orders stopped cold. It was toilet paper and hand sanitizer is what the stores were focused on right then. Category reviews stopped. People were not looking for luxury items like face serum bars and things at the time. They were just trying to be safe. So that's all we did for 5 months was hand sanitizer. Well, companies that use contract manufacturers can't just pivot like that overnight. And we actually called a bunch of contract manufacturers to try to help us make even more because we had packaging supplies when other companies couldn't get it. And they said, sure, if you want to wait 9 months, we can do this for you. So we were literally able to pivot overnight. And so we started supplying the Rocky Mountain region in Whole Foods, then NorCal, then New England. So yeah, it was really just kind of good luck and good timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you did the right thing. You did the right thing. And I mean, there was still some risk involved,
Yes.
And I think that's, you took risk. And, that's another thing. You can't be an entrepreneur if you're risk averse, right? I mean,
correct. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that. The risk and, maybe mistakes we make along the way, things that we might want to tell people, hey, I made this mistake. I would do this differently. Is there anything that you would like to share?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've made mistakes for sure.
We all have. Yep.
And I think one really important part of being a founder is just trusting your gut and trusting in yourself. And there's days I come into this office and I say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I shouldn't be in this position. I need to hire somebody that knows what they're doing. And there's other days where I come in and go, I can do anything. I can do anything. I know exactly what I'm doing. So, there's definitely the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. But the most important thing is that you just trust your gut and believe in yourself. So, yeah, I feel like everything since day one has been a risk, starting a company when I've never started a company before, quitting my well-paying day job and cutting our household income in half was a big risk. And like I said, I've made lots of mistakes. The biggest being, I made a mistake that cost me 3 really great employees and $150,000 just trying to listen to who I considered to be the experts at the time. All we needed was an inventory control program, and we got talked into installing a much bigger ERP system that was, we should have been at 20 million in sales before we started looking at something like that. And we were, I think, at, 800,000 at the time. So I've made some really big mistakes, and all you can do is just learn from them and move on. It's really important that, how do I say this? I don't know. I just feel like I tried to get too big too quickly. And I try to tried to install programs like this ERP system uh, to be ready for when we got big instead of addressing what I needed right then. So I think, and I've done that on a few things that I, wanted to be bigger. So I acted like we were bigger and tried to implement them, and it comes back to bite you. So, scale appropriately, especially in the early stages. Just get what you need. Don't try to do more than what you need.
Yeah,
That
it
was
sounds like,
what a lot of my mistakes were based around.
yeah, just go almost like built out a minimal viable product,
Right,
minimally viable what you need until you get to the
right,
stage where you need something bigger, better.
right.
Okay. And now,
Yeah.
future wise, where do you see the future of your brand?
Yeah. So like I said, we have a really big sustainability mission. We are trying to go plastic free in 2024. So our products are all, I don't know if you can see it here, but offered in bar form. They're offered in paperboard boxes, no plastic lining, soy inks, so they're home compostable. We are B Corp certified, we're woman owned certified, we're plastic negative certified, so we can control what we put out into the world with plastics, but we can't control necessarily what comes into our warehouse. So we weigh every pound of plastic and offset it 2 times, working with Repurpose Global, pulling ocean waste plastics out and repurposing it into new bottles. So plastic free is our mission, and it's a pretty innovative offering. We launched it in November of 2021, and we were kind of first to market on a lot of our products that were in zero waste packaging, and we've gotten a lot of attention for that. Consumers were looking for products that can help them reduce their environmental footprint, and so we're offering that. There's several companies doing that right now, and I'm all for it because I would love to see retailers have a whole plastic free section in their stores that people can go shop. So we are, like I said, in about 3,500 stores around the country. When I first started going for wholesale, I was focused mostly on natural and enhanced channel. But then I thought, why should only people that go to natural grocery stores have access to things like this? So we're selling in Kroger and Safeway and Albertsons and Wegmans and lots of more conventional grocers as well now.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going and keep growing.
It sounds like you are, and it sounds like you will for sure. So congratulations on all that, and thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. If people want to find out more about you and what's happening with Spinster Sisters, where would they look?
Yeah, so first off, thank you for having me. It's been really fun talking with you. We are best place to find out more information is our website, spinstersistersco.com. It's got information about our business practices. It's got store locators. We sell with Grove Collaborative, Amazon, of course, and 3,500 retailers around the country. So
wonderful, amazing. Yeah. I'm sure that's going to keep growing. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.